Thanks for listening to the Chat.Inc podcast on YouTube. If you want a smoother, higher quality listening experience, listen on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts, Deezer, or TuneIn.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Chat.Inc podcast with me, Olivia, and my co-host, Chris.
Yes, I'm here as well. Today, Olivia's introducing the podcast so that Finally, she actually, this is probably, how many takes did we take for you to say Chat.Inc correctly?
Not that many.
Okay, not that many. But
I've got a bit of an issue saying Chat.Inc podcast.
Well, yeah,
I've got it down to a T now.
Yeah, but you've got it down to the T, literally.
To the T.
So yeah, basically in today's episode, we've got loads and loads of really interesting news because, 2 weeks ago, we literally didn't bring dick to the table because there was nothing. There was literally nothing. So we basically just took a bunch of news from a while ago and kind of stretched it out. But since we didn't upload last week, there's been loads going on in the past week.
The week we don't upload, all the shit went down.
Like everything went down in the week we don't upload. And I'm sure all of you expected one of us to mention this at least. The interview with Oprah with Meghan and Harry.
Of course.
It's everywhere right now. Me and Olivia aren't going to chat about it. First of all, we don't really want to release any spoilers. Second, it's not really the most level topic right now. It's very controversial.
There's lots of controversy.
But let's just say it's an incredibly interesting subject that you can, I think
there is so much drama.
Like, what do you expect? I was talking about this with Julia the other day. It's like, I feel like the royal family has become less about running Britain and it's just become a reality TV show.
It is.
Now.
It's the Kardashians of the UK.
It's literally like keeping up with the royals, keeping up with the Windsors. It's just like,
it's fun though. I like it.
It's fun to watch. Like there's always something interesting going on. And they get offended by the crown, but to be fair, that's,
they get offended by it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just leave it at it's. But yeah, super interesting interview. You guys should definitely go check it out. A lot of controversy going on around it. If you want to know basically what's going on right now, Olivia, you seem to be dying to say something extra. Go ahead.
I want to say, but to be honest, out of all the people that they could have chosen to do an interview with, I don't know why it's Oprah. I love Oprah, don't get me wrong.
No, she's amazing. But
why an American?
Yeah, well, I think it's just because they maybe they just wanted to break the cycle. They didn't maybe they didn't want to go on the Graham Norton show.
Not that I've got anything against Americans.
No, it's fair. Like, completely right. But I think what Olivia's trying to say is that they're British. They left the British royal family.
Yes.
This would be expected to be somewhat of a more British subject to talk about.
Yes.
Which is why kind of both of us were a little bit weirded out when we saw that it was Oprah who was interviewing. We would have expected it to be, well, not Piers Morgan, because we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about him in a minute, but yeah, like we would have expected it to be someone British. Not that we have anything against Oprah. Yeah,
no shade thrown. We love our queen.
We love Oprah. I still like my favorite of all of them. Well, actually, no, this doesn't make sense because I was about to say my favorite one's James Corden, but he's still British. Going on from the topic of chat show hosts, I'm going to talk about this relatively quickly because if we stay on this topic for too long, I'm going to go off on a tangent and this podcast is going to be an hour long. But Piers Morgan has recently quit Good Morning Britain.
It is about time.
I wasn't going to say anything, but now that we said that...
Can I not say that?
I wasn't going to say anything, but now that we've said that, I'd just like to say thank you, God. but like, honestly, just like Olivia was having a bit of a interesting moment about Simon Cowell 2 weeks ago, I
think we talked about Piers Morgan a few weeks ago as well. Yeah, I think not on the interview, but we talked about him.
I think we did at one point, and I am not particularly... Okay, you know what? My British politeness is going out the window. I really don't like him.
No, no one likes him.
Like the fact that... Oh my God, he just drives me up the wall.
He's offensive.
He drives me around the bend. Piers Morgan is a pretty petty person.
But do you know what else I saw? Sharon Osbourne was defending him. She made, in an interview or something, she was defending Piers Morgan. And I thought, how ridiculous.
Big mistake.
Because I used to like her. Like, you know, the old X Factor? Like,
Yeah.
I've got CDs where it's like 2004, 2005 X Factor.
Me too.
I love them.
I genuinely remember watching the X Factor like in 2000, and I think it was 2009, and I watched as Ollie Murs' career kicked off.
Yeah.
I was like, and I still love Ollie Murs to this day. He's an icon.
He's really good. He's really, really good.
But yeah, like I think defending Piers Morgan in that.
Yeah, no, it broke my heart a bit because I liked her, but now I don't.
A bit of your childhood died a little bit then.
It died.
What can I say? Moving on from that before I end up breaking the microphone with my ranting. Olivia, why don't you take the wheel on this one?
BAFTA nominations.
Yeah.
I love the BAFTA awards. I think I prefer them to the Oscars, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, to be fair, well, we're not exactly the kind of people to talk about it because we're kind of a bit impartial, aren't we?
No, do you know what? I find the Oscars very, prejudice. I think there are so many female directors and so many diverse people that are
kind of left out a little bit.
They're so left out. It's always white males.
I like the BAFTA. Exactly.
Nominated.
I like the BAFTAs a lot. I actually saw a couple of months ago, I watched the film Nomadland with Frances McDormand. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't actually.
And genuinely, I don't exactly remember the plot line exactly, but it's basically this woman who basically just goes out into the Wild West and has an adventure out there, starring Frances McDormand. It's such an amazing film, and it's been nominated for, among a lot of others, a BAFTA for Best Cinematography, Best Film, and Best Editing. That's not a bad list.
Not at all.
The director, Chloe Zhao, should be so proud of herself because that film was amazing. It was amazing.
I haven't seen it, but I really do trust your taste in cinematography.
Well, to be fair, yeah.
I do. If I have to trust one person with cinematography in movie taste, I think it would be you.
Exactly.
Best compliment ever given.
Oh, thank you. Casually flicks hair. But yeah. So now that we've talked about Nomadland, which is a film that I've watched and you haven't, how about we go to the complete antonym of that and you talk about a film that you've watched and I haven't?
The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Now what's that then?
A brilliant film. If I'm going to watch a movie, like a historical movie, documentary style, it's not exactly a documentary
No, but it's
style.
factual. It's factual.
It's factual. Yeah. It's based on real events. I want it to be like this. It's based on the trial of the Chicago 7, obviously,
in
1969, which was basically these 7 people were charged with conspiracy against the government and starting a riot, not exactly a riot, but a protest. It started out as a protest, basically, and it ended up being a riot. A protest against the injustice black people faced at the time, obviously. They were very prejudiced, very racist.
Basically just a film about that, right?
It's basically a film about that. Well, basically, these people that were tried, they were all white. The people that actually started the riot, they weren't black, but the government arrested another black man. They just threw a black man in there. It's basically without any reason, and it's about the trial and about the injustice this man faced.
Well, the injustice system, like the racism that was faced in that time was
I wouldn't say just that time. The American police system.
Okay, fine.
Especially then was racist as hell.
Yes, for sure. Obviously, there is definitely some going on at the moment, for sure, without fail. But I think there is no denying that back then it was a whole other level of worse.
Oh, yes.
But
back to the actual movie. It's starring Eddie Redmayne, one of my favourite actors.
I heard it's also starring Sacha Baron Cohen from what I've seen.
Yes.
Yeah, all you needed to say was Sacha Baron Cohen, and I
told you about it, and your eyes lit up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God! Is it showing really?
Yes, you've got stars in your eyes, as well as Jeremy Strong and Mark Rylance. Very great actors.
No, really, really good, both of them, and
amazing performances.
And they've been nominated as well.
Yeah.
And last but not least, for Best Animated Film, totally agree with this. Soul. The new.
I haven't watched that. I really want to watch it. I watched it.
I watched it with my dad. I watched it with my dad a couple of weeks ago. It was really, really good. It's directed by Pete Docter, the same guy who directed Monsters, Inc. and I believe Finding Nemo. Don't quote me on that, but I know he definitely directed Monsters, Inc. and a couple of other Pixar films. So he knows his way around a Pixar film.
Oh, yeah.
So
I do really want to watch it.
like, it's genuinely so good. And to do with the films, the final little snippet of news that we have is something which, Olivia, I'm sure you'll be incredibly interested in. The Sundance Film Festival, which is basically one of the biggest film festivals in the world, based in Los Angeles, is now basically opening in Asia now. So they're basically branching off, creating a second one. It's just like Rain Dance in England.
Oh.
They've branched off and they've gone to, I believe, Dubai, and they're making one there as well. So now Sundance has broken off and they're doing one in Asia, kind
That's
of branching
really
out a little bit more. It's quite cool. And I mean, I've been following a lot. I haven't really cared about film festivals that much right up until recently.
No, I haven't really been interested in film festivals. I love awards. I follow them.
For sure, but the film festivals, the thing is, they're mostly to do with indie films.
Yeah.
And I haven't really been catching up on indie films until I made one a few months ago.
Yeah.
And, shameless plug, go watch The Misfit on Amazon Prime. But basically, you can see that they're trying to branch out. They're trying to branch out a little bit more, and I'm kind of interested in these film festivals now because I can see that you don't only get an award from Los Angeles, you can also get one from, I believe. No, you know what? I'm not going to try and say. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in Asia.
To be honest, I've found with whatever indie films I've watched personally, it's hit or miss.
Yeah, it really is hit or miss, and
they're either really not great. Like most of them, actually, the equipment's obviously really good, and they've obviously put money into it. They've invested in it.
But there's a reason they call them independent films, and yeah. I do not in any way whatsoever, go prancing around saying that my film is the best in the world, because I'm going to say one thing. I can, with my naked eye, while watching our film, spot at least 50 different things we did wrong, as well as leaving the microphone in the shot at one point. Yes, we did. For those of you who don't know, Olivia was in the crew. She was actually the makeup artist for the previous film. And we actually, while we were filming at one point, you can tell, I think it was in a scene where Emilios goes up to my German teacher, who was playing one of the characters in the cafe, and goes and asks them to order a coffee. And right in the background, we had just left the microphone boom pole. So I kind of defocused it afterwards to make it just look like a pole which had been left there. But I don't exactly know how it... shit lines up, though, when you do it properly, though, because we got so lucky. At one point, we left one of the Pelican cases, the big cases that we put the equipment inside, right behind Julia and my mum while they were filming their bit. But Julia just so happened to be talking about, in that scene, the fact that she needed a new school bag.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
it lined up. I just love it when shit lines up like that, especially when I do something incredibly wrong and I can actually justify it.
Yeah, no. But going back to indie films in general, they're either really good, they're really innovative, or they're just a bit boring. They're repetitive sometimes. Yeah,
a lot of them can be, because a lot of indie films are dramas. You can't deny that, about 1 in every 5 indie films are some kind of very, very...
And it's mostly physical acting.
Yes,
There's
definitely.
not much dialogue.
Because obviously, the actors are less experienced. It really all depends. The independent films for me carry quite a lot of weight because I know how much effort it takes to actually make one.
Oh yeah, I respect them. Yeah, definitely.
But I totally agree with you. They can be either hit or miss a lot of the time. Okay, so welcome back to the interview section of the Chat.Inc podcast. Today we've got someone very, very special here with us. We've got our neighbor, or in other words, Dr. Katerina Pattichis, who is the owner of the Ananeosis Medical Rejuvenation Clinic in Limassol. Katerina, how are you?
Hi guys, good to see you.
So, would you like to tell us what is Ananeosis exactly?
Ananeosis is a new medical rejuvenation clinic that I founded in 2017, and it's based just downstairs from where you are, guys. Basically,
she is right underneath from us. Very, very convenient if either of us want something. So, who exactly do you help when it comes to things like this? What kind of treatments do you do? Who do you help?
Well, we help men and women and boys and girls from the age of approximately 13 onwards. They mainly present with acne and acne scars. We help women with issues, facial issues or body issues, and men, again, with body or face issues. And we also deal with incontinence, which is a taboo subject most of the time.
What kind of machines do you use for the treatments?
Well, we have a variety of machines that we're using, latest technology, machines that are CE approved or FDA approved. We have Dermapen, for example, Dermapen 4. I am the key opinion leader in Cyprus for the Dermapen treatments. It's microneedling treatments.
From what we've seen, you're approved by the spokesperson, right, Dr. Andrew Christie?
Yes, that's right. We have HIFU, which stands for High Intensity Focused Ultrasound, which we use for non-surgical facelifting and body lifting. We have the Plexar, which is short for plasma exeresis. We use that to remove moles and skin tags, but also for non-surgical blepharoplasty. For people who have excess skin over their eyes, we can remove it without sutures, without scalpel, and with very quick recovery.
How did you decide to start Ananeosis?
Well, it was a dream of mine to be able to offer something like this to people, because up until now, a lot of these medical aesthetic treatments were considered to be just for the few and rich, whereas we wanted to show that, yes, everybody can have these treatments.
It's attainable for basically every class, essentially.
Exactly. But you still have to remember that you pay for what you get, or you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
So,
you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So, if you want to you cannot have it cheap and good.
Precisely, but to be 100% fair, there are, I think, if I'm correct in saying, very few people that actually use the machines that you use here in Cyprus. You're pioneers for a couple of machines.
That's right. One of them is the VAVE radiofrequency system, which helps women with incontinence and also with dryness in the nether regions. Not sure if we're allowed to say the proper medical words on this podcast.
Well, it's okay, but I think everybody can understand. It's they're treatments which can be used for intimate health and wellness. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. Yeah. We also have the Tesla former. Again, it's the only one in Cyprus, I believe, and that is excellent for muscle training, muscle toning.
I can vouch actually for that. It's a brilliant treatment. I've actually done it a couple of times myself. Absolutely amazing. It's brilliant, honestly.
We are also going to be launching endospheres next week.
Really? What are those exactly?
It's a brand new treatment that we're introducing, which helps for cellulite. And as you probably know, about 95% of women will actually suffer from cellulite at some point in their lives. And it's something that we can't really completely get rid of, but endospheres is an amazing treatment that should help reduce cellulite.
Right, so it's basically just something which, reduces it, doesn't completely get rid of it, but, it's brilliant. At least that's the whole point of Ananeosis, isn't it? It's kind of bettering yourself, making yourself feel more self-confident, right?
Exactly. That's what we aim for. We look at the patient in a holistic way. So we address not just the issues that they come in with. For example, oh, doctor, my skin is sagging. I want to correct this. But also the psychological aspect of the patient. We treat the patient as a whole. We look at the medical side, we look at the psychological side, and the aesthetic.
That's the most important, because no patient wants to be treated as just a name, rank, and serial number. It's just
No. And that's something we're very proud of here at Ananeosis, in that we treat all our clients and patients as guests in our house. So from the moment you step into the clinic, you really feel, we'll make you feel welcome, and you're treated as an individual.
Could you tell us about the other two clinics you run?
Yes, we run another two clinics under the same umbrella. One is called GEM, which stands for Geriatric Evaluation and Management. That's the general medicine and geriatric gerontology side of things, where we'll see older people and try and deal with their particular problems. The other one is epulosis, which in Greek means wound healing, and that's exactly what it does. We have a team of experts, and we deal mainly with diabetic feet and bed ulcers.
I believe that you're also one of the pioneers of the Arthrex Angel system here.
We're the only ones that have the Arthrex Angel system here in Cyprus. Brilliant. And we use it to prepare platelet-rich plasma, or PRP, which we combine with our own patented method to create a gel, call it a hematogel, that we apply over the wound, and we get fantastic results, fantastic healing results. We've done lots of clinical trials in the UK with this method, and it really is
incredibly effective.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Pattichis. Could you please tell us where can everybody find you? Is there a website? Is there a telephone number?
Yes, there's a website. It's www.drpattichis.com, or you could call us on 25 347 347 for an appointment. We'll be happy to see you. And, thank you guys for having me on your program.
Anytime.
That's it for this week's episode of the Chat.Inc podcast. It was lovely having you on. We hope you tune in next week.
Sorry for not having uploaded last week, guys, because, obviously we had a couple of issues, but we should be back to our normal, rigorous weekly upload schedule by next week. So from me and Olivia, it's...
Goodbye.